Hey, it's Tom, and Verizon recently came out with its own credit card. In this video, we're going to look at the benefits of the card and whether this is something that will be worth it for you in the long term. But before we get into that, please take a second to subscribe to the channel if you want to learn more about how to optimize your credit card strategy so that you can get more cash back on your everyday purchases and/or more points and miles that you can use to take trips once it's safe to start traveling again. So the first thing I should mention about this card is that obviously it's for Verizon customers. If you don't have an account with Verizon, then this card isn't going to be available to you and it wouldn't even be useful to you because the cash back that it generates is basically a credit towards your monthly Verizon bill. You can't use the Verizon dollars to go buy a new smartphone at a Verizon store or something like that. You can only use it towards things like your Verizon phone, internet, cable, and landline bills. So if you have phone service with Verizon or Fios or both, then you're eligible to apply for the card unless you have more than 10 phone lines with Verizon, but I think it's pretty rare for someone to have that many phone lines. Although I suppose it is possible if you have like a huge family or something like that. Now, the way this card is marketed, they tell you that you'll get $10 per month for each line as well as for Fios, but you could also set up auto pay without using this card and still get that discount. So if you do that with your debit card or with directing your bank account information to your Verizon account, then you're going to be able to get those savings without getting this card. So because of that, I don't really think that it makes sense to count that as a benefit of the card because you don't need the card to get the benefit. So we're going to sort of disregard that because it's a benefit that you should be getting with or without the card. The earnings categories for this card are 4% back on gas and groceries, 3% back on dining, 2% back on Verizon purchases, and 1% back on everything else. I do find it a little bit odd that you only get 2% back on your Verizon spend, and I feel like they could have made the card better if they offered 3%, which would have, I think, made it a little bit more of an interesting card. This card has no annual fees and no foreign transaction fees either. You'll also get 2 travel pass days per year. Normally you'll have to spend $10 per day to use your phone's internet, texting, and calling when you're outside of the US. So if you're someone that generally travels internationally at least 2 days per year, then this card will be able to save you $20 per year. If you're a new card holder, then you'll also get $100 off of your Verizon wireless bill. However, that's spread out over the course of 2 years. So that works out to about $4.17 per month, but I feel like that benefit would be a lot better if they did give it to you in one lump sum of $100 of credit. I think the reason that they're spreading it out over the course of 2 years is to try to encourage people to delay switching if they were thinking about switching. And so that's probably the reason that they spread that out over the course of 2 years instead of giving it to you in a nicer, more upfront chunk. So is this card really worth it? I think that if you're focusing on cashback, which a lot of people are given what's going on in the economy and the world right now, then the 4% return on groceries and gas stations makes a lot of sense, especially considering that this card has no annual fee, while the American Express Gold card does have an annual fee. The Costco card also gives you 4% get back on gas station purchases, but you'd have to be a Costco member to get that card, and not everyone wants to pay $60 a year to be a member of Costco, or they don't even necessarily live near Costco. So that card is only really going to make sense if you are a Costco customer. Basically, if you're focused on cashback and you're a Verizon customer who is not a Costco customer, then this Verizon card is going to be pretty good for your gas station spending and also for your grocery spending. If you have other cards that give you good benefits in those categories, you'll still get $70 of value per year in year 1 and 2, and then $20 of value per year going forward. So the way that that math sort of works out is that in year 1, you're going to get $20 of the travel pass benefit and $50 of that $100 credit spread out over 12 months. And then in year 2, it'll be the same thing, so you'll save another $70 with $20 coming from the travel pass and $50 coming from that sort of spread out over 2 years sign-up bonus. Like with a lot of things, whether this card makes sense for you is going to come down to your own individual spending patterns and also what cards you already have. Some people aren't willing to get any cards that have annual fees, even if they'll get back more in value than they spend on the annual fee. And if you're in that category, then I think this card could get you a nice return on your gas and grocery spend, But even if you are somebody who is willing to pay annual fees, this card can still be something that ends up being good if you don't have something that returns higher in one or both of those categories. So I generally would not recommend this card if you are not affected by the Chase 524 rule. And what that rule is that Chase will automatically deny you for any credit cards from Chase if you've been approved for 5 or more personal cards in the last 24 months from any credit card issuer. If you've received less than 4 personal cards from any credit card issuer in the last 24 months, then you won't be auto-rejected by Chase, and it would generally make sense to look for the Chase cards that might add some long-term and short-term value for you. And then once you're no longer eligible for more Chase cards, then it would make sense to circle back and look for the non-Chase cards that make sense for you. That way you don't have to wait almost 2 years before you can get Chase cards. Just makes a little bit more sense in my view to get those upfront while you still can. So with that said, a great way to help support the channel is to use the links below and to click the like button if you liked the video. If you know any Verizon customers who might be interested in this, you can share the video with them to help them figure out if this card is right for them. So that's all for now. Take care, and I'll see you next time.